There is a kind of hunger that food cannot touch. You work hard. You dress well. You try your best. But no matter what you do, it never feels like enough, because the people around you still do not seem to see you. Most people spend years, sometimes their whole lives, trying to earn the approval of others. And the painful truth is this: the more you chase it, the further away peace becomes. But there was one boy who learned this lesson. Not from a book, not from success, but from a loss so quiet it nearly broke him. This is his story. Today, Zavian Tales brings you a story about a young man named Sam, a man who believed that if enough people respected him, he would finally feel whole. By the end of this story, you will understand something that most people discover far too late: that approval is not the same as peace, and peace is the only thing truly worth building. The village of Miran sat at the edge of a low green hill, surrounded by rice fields and narrow, dusty roads. It was a quiet place, simple, honest, the kind of village where everyone knew your name, and where everyone also knew your failures. Sam was 26 years old, lean and slightly restless, with tired brown eyes that always seemed to be scanning the room, looking for something, though he could not have named what. He wore a plain off-white shirt and simple dark trousers, clean but worn at the edges. He was not lazy. He was not unkind. But there was a hollowness in him, quiet and persistent, like a door left open in winter. Every morning, Sam carried goods from the lower market to the upper road. Boxes of grain and cloth on a worn wooden cart. It was honest work. But Sam hated it, not because it was hard, because no one noticed. He would pass the village elders sitting outside the tea house, and they would barely glance at him. He would deliver to the merchant Dawit's shop door, and Dawit would take the boxes without a word. No thank you, no nod, nothing. Sam would stand there a second too long, waiting for something he could not ask for. In the evenings, Sam would stay longer at the village gathering, laughing too loudly, agreeing too quickly, trying to shape himself into whoever the group seemed to need. One night, he spent 3 days' earnings buying tea for men who forgot his name by morning. He walked home in the dark, lighter in his pocket and heavier in his chest. He told himself it was fine. It was not fine. Sam's grandfather, Eli Tate, lived at the far end of the village in a small house with a garden of stubborn herbs and a fig tree that somehow still bore fruit every season. Eli was 76 years old, small-framed but upright, with a full head of white hair swept gently to one side, warm dark eyes behind quiet creases, and a slow, easy smile that never seemed rushed. He wore a simple cream robe, always clean, and moved through the world like a man who had long ago stopped needing to prove himself to it. One evening, Sam came to his grandfather's house without warning, sat down in the garden, and said nothing for a long time. Eli did not press him. He simply poured 2 small cups of tea and set one in front of Sam. Finally, Sam spoke. "Grandfather," he said, staring at the ground, "I work every day. I try. I give. But no one respects me. No one sees me. I don't understand why." Eli was quiet for a moment. Then he asked, gently and without urgency, "Sam, tell me, what do you want most in this world?" Sam looked up. "I want people to respect me, to see that I matter." The old man nodded slowly, as if he had expected exactly that answer. "And when they do," Eli said softly, "will you finally feel peaceful?" Sam opened his mouth to say yes, but the word did not come. Eli reached beside him and picked up a small clay jar from the garden, sealed tight, with a cork. He handed it to Sam. "This jar," Eli said, "is full to the top with water. But tell me, can you hear the water inside?" Sam shook the jar. The water made no sound. "Now," said Eli. "Why is it quiet?" Sam thought. "Because it is full. When something is full, it does not shake." Eli smiled and pointed gently at Sam's chest. "When a man is full inside himself," he said, "he does not rattle for others to notice him." Sam stared at the jar in his hands for a long time. Sam walked home that night, thinking about the jar. He thought about it the next morning too, as he loaded the cart. He decided, quietly and without telling anyone, to try something different. Instead of waiting for Dawit to thank him, Sam simply placed the boxes down, gave a small nod, and walked away. Instead of buying tea for men who forgot him, he came home early and used that money to repair a hole in his roof. Small things, silent things, but they were his. Weeks passed. Then one morning, a rainstorm swept through Miran and ruined 3 sacks of grain on Sam's cart. He had borrowed money to buy those sacks. All of it was gone. He sat down on the wet road beside the cart and put his face in his hands. The old feeling came back hard and fast, that he was foolish, that he was cursed, that no matter how much he tried, the world would not let him rise. He sat in the rain for a long time. When he returned to the village, still damp and hollow-eyed, 2 young men from the upper road laughed. "Sam and his great ambitions," one said loudly, so others could hear. "His grain is gone and his pride along with it." Others looked away, embarrassed. Some quietly agreed. Sam stood there and felt the old hunger spike, the desperate need to defend himself, to prove them wrong loudly, to shout his worth into the air. But he thought of the jar. He said nothing. He walked on. It was one of the hardest things he had ever done. Months later, Sam had rebuilt his small savings. He had taken on extra work repairing baskets for a woman named Sina, whose hands were no longer steady. But Sena's son came one afternoon and told Sam he was no longer needed, that a younger boy would do it for less. Sam walked to his grandfather's garden that evening and sat under the fig tree alone. He was tired, not with his body, with the effort of staying quiet inside. Outside, when everything inside kept trying to pull him back to the old hunger, he pressed his hands flat on his knees and looked at the sky and thought, maybe the jar is right. But I am still so empty. But slowly, so slowly, it was hard to see at first. Something began to shift. Sam stopped scanning the room when he walked in. He stopped waiting after he delivered things. He began to notice small pleasures. The weight of a good day's work, the smell of rain before it fell, the way the fig tree looked in early light. He worked with more focus and less noise. He spent less. He wasted nothing. One morning, without planning it, he woke up and felt, not happy exactly, but something quieter, something still. He could not name it then, but it was peace, arriving slowly, the way all real things do. One market day, a traveling cloth merchant from another region arrived in Miran. He had heard, through word passed quietly between villages, that there was a young carrier in Miran who was careful, honest, and steady. He asked for Sam by name, not because Sam had been loud, not because Sam had bought anyone tea, simply because the work had spoken. The merchant offered Sam a regular contract, more than double what he earned on the cart. Sam stood very still. He had dreamed of a moment like this for years. But here, now, something was different. He was not shaking. He was not desperate. He did not feel like he needed to perform or prove. He simply said, "I would be honored." And he meant it, not with hunger, but with quiet gratitude. He walked to his grandfather's house that evening and sat down without a word. Eli looked at him and smiled slowly. "You are quieter today," the old man said. Sam nodded. "I think the jar is beginning to fill." And those 2 young men who had laughed at him in the square, they passed Sam's house the following week and saw him loading good cloth onto a clean new cart. They said nothing this time, not because Sam had won an argument, not because he had shouted back, simply because peace, when it is real, when it lives inside a person, needs no defense. It simply stands there, whole. Here is what Sam's life taught, and what I want to leave with you today. Most people spend their energy trying to fill an inner emptiness with outer approval. They work harder so others will notice. They give more than they can afford so others will like them. They stay quiet when they should speak, and speaks loudly when they should be still, all because they are searching for something from the outside that can only be found on the inside. Approval feels like it will satisfy, but it never does, because approval is borrowed. Peace is owned. You do not become worthy by making others see your worth. You become worthy by knowing it yourself, quietly, without needing confirmation. When you stop rattling for attention, when you become full inside, something changes. The right people begin to find you. The right doors begin to open. Not because you forced them, but because a person at peace moves differently. They work differently. They carry themselves differently. And the world, slowly, quietly responds to that. So here is the one thing I want you to remember. Stop chasing the sound of other people's approval. Start filling your own jar, because a full jar does not rattle. And the quietest, most whole version of you, that is the version that will be truly, lastingly seen. I have spent time in my own life doing what Sam did. Working hard in the wrong direction. Trying to earn a seat at a table that was never going to feel like home. The day I stopped needing the room to notice me was the day I finally felt something I had been looking for all along. It was not applause. It was not praise. It was just a quiet kind of wholeness. And it was enough. If this story touched something in you, I want to invite you to subscribe to Zavian Tales. Here you will find stories that help you think better, live wiser, and grow stronger, one lesson at a time. And before you go, I have one more story waiting for you. Watch my previous story, Never Mock the Slow One. A life lesson about Zavian Tales. That story teaches something equally powerful, that the one everyone underestimates is often the one who arrives last and stays longest. I will see you there.